Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the West Rutland Healey Gym for coverage of the 54th Annual Ed Glodzik Memorial Girls and Boys 5th and 6th grade basketball tournament. As tonight, the two championship games, the girls first off, as the Rutland Rec team takes on Brandon. And I'm Jack Healey on board with John Center. It's a historic night, John. This coverage of the two championship games live on PEGTV, channel 15. And Mike Valentine is with us tonight, as is Stacy Kent from PEGTV. Is Stacy, who has been here all week long, also our camera person and our producer tonight. But this is the 54th Annual Glodzik Tournament here at the Healey Gym, the beautiful facility, as you can see, and we're all set for the pregame activities. We'll have the boys' game to follow. 25 years since it's been named the Ed Glodzik Tournament. 25 years ago on March 17th, the year that it was first named for Ed, who was one of the founders of this tournament in the first place. When it was named after him, West Rutland won the championship. It was and I remember being here that particular night. Special that West Rutland won it 25 years ago.
Absolutely, and Pat Lahan was the coach, and very fond memories of that for him and his team. And I'll tell you, this has got the ability tonight to be a real exciting championship evening here. Both the boys and the girls games should be very good. As the week goes along, you know, the cream sort of comes to the top on all these teams, and both of these teams are set up to put on one whale of a show here tonight. And look at the crowd. We've had great crowds here all week, and the kids, they just look forward to this thing. And you know, the Booster Club and all those people, they just do such a great job of just adding a little niche every year to make this thing better and better and better. And just when you think you've reached the top where you just like to maintain, somebody comes up with a wrinkle and say, let's try that. The kids love it, the parents, coaches love it, and on we go.
Well, it's going to be Brandon and the Rutland Rec 6th grade. They're both 6th grade teams in this, the 5th and 6th grade tournament. Of course, there are 5th grade teams and 6th grade teams. Generally speaking, it's the 6th grade teams that make it to the championship. Out front here is the public address announcer. You mentioned Pat Lahan, who was the coach of that team 25 years ago that won the Glodzik tournament from West Rutland. That team, when they went on to become high school players, when they were virtually seniors, some 6 years later, they won the state championship in boys basketball as well.
Yes, they did.
And Pat is all dressed and ready to go for St. Patrick's Day. It's hard to believe that was 25 years ago. As we say, that's the 25th annual tournament under the name Ed Glodzik, but the 54th Glodzik tournament overall. The West Rutland Sports Boosters, again, the sponsor of this, and what a great job they do. And this beautiful gym, the Healey Gym, Frank Healey, and dedicated in 1975. You played here as a high school basketball player. You won a state championship. You guys beat Proctor in '76. I was there. I was at that game. I'll never forget it. I was one that didn't give you guys a chance, but you and Steve Patrica and the rest of the boys got the job done that particular day at the Patrick Gym. Of course, Pat explaining the background of the Ed Glodzik tournament.
Pat's got great passion for this tournament, as you can see.
Thanks for the introduction, Pat. Just really happy to be here for a number of years, certainly here to watch many of the championship nights. And of course, I've discussed this with you before, and obviously girls basketball, high school wise, going on this week. And for a period of years, the Glodzik tournament was virtually by itself after the high school season was over. But as the seasons begin to be expanded and so forth, and you had mentioned to me that they like to get the winter season done pretty much on time to get on with the spring season, and that's why the tournament kind of overlaps a little bit with the high school basketball tournament.
Yeah, the players and the baseball season, the players and coaches, they want to get in here, start getting the baseballs going, the AAU tournaments, and there's a lot of stuff. So,
but a great crowd, and a good night for traveling, and was here for the semifinal last night. Both Brandon and the Rutland Rec team here on the girls' side. This is the second year of the girls' tournament. For many years, it was just the boys' tournament. Even though the girls did play on the boys' teams, there were a few girls that played over the years. Brandon coached by Stacy Edmonds and Dave Magro, the coach of the Rutland Rec team, the 6th grade team from the Rutland Recreation Department. And Brandon will be the home team here, and the visiting team will be the Rutland Rec 6th graders. Stacy Edmonds, her daughter Aaliyah Edmonds does play and start for Brandon. Dave Magro's daughter, Elise Magro, does play for Rutland. So for the purpose of the game tonight, it's Rutland and Brandon.
That's it. And in commonality, there's a lot of players where their father's the coach. As you go up
we're looking forward to the boys' game tonight. It's the Rutland Rec Moore team. Moore for Sean Moore, who is the coach, and Jack Rogers, who is a West Rutland guy, who was the coach of that '95 team, by the way, at West Rutland, assistant coach at Rutland, but his young son plays on that Rutland Rec Moore team. And not only is it called Moore because Sean is the coach of that team, but Scott Moore is also, his son is also plays on that team, and there is no relation. So, but we'll talk about that a little bit more when the time comes. So here we go. They're going to listen to Pat Lahan here.
How about this spectacle here? Mark Kader and his crew has put together on the floor with the revolving lights and the balloons, and just don't get any better than this, Jack.
25 years ago today. 25 years ago today was.
Pat was talking.
And I was over here.
25 years ago. We mentioned it was 25 years ago on St. Patrick's Day, so technically the 17th, but Pat is explaining being the coach of that team from West Rutland the first year that it was named for Ed Glodzik. Ed, as people know, in this area, passed away in the summer of 1988, so it was the following year, the following spring, 1989, when the tournament was renamed the Ed Glodzik Memorial Tournament, March the 17th, 1989.
We were here all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Monday we had 4 games. Tuesday we had 4 games. Wednesday we had 4 games. Thursday we had 4 games. And tonight we got.
We have some other people with us here at the desk. The broadcast vantage point. As Jess Grabowski is the official scorer, and
she has been all week long.
Yes, she has been. And also Paul Dunches will be operating the scoreboard.
The one and only.
And I noticed this last night when I was here for the semifinals. He apparently is the only person here that can actually operate the scoreboard.
Yeah, he put a secret code in that clock, so he's the only one that knows it.
He came back after the third quarter of one of the games last night thinking the game was over. That's why he didn't come back right away, he told us.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Here we go. Now this is spectacular. The Hinchy Gym here at West Rutland. Look at this. I mean, this is, I mean, they don't do this at Madison Square Garden.
No, they don't. It's all providing the experience for the kids. It's all about the kids.
Okay, the first match this evening, Girls Championship, Rutland Rec
Pat Lawhan, the public address announcer here for the Glodzik Memorial Tournament. Here comes Brandon. And Rutland. Rutland is, well, as soon as the lights go on, we'll tell you that Rutland is in black and red, and Brandon in red and black. And I'm not sure what they are told to be holding there.
They got their glow rings.
Each one of the Brandon players being introduced will run by the starting lineup for you after Pat Lawhan does. And now they're wearing necklaces that are the glow in the dark, I guess is the only way I could put it here.
Just a little color to add to the festivities.
At forward, number 4, at center, number 22,
This Brandon team's got very good size.
Yes, they do, and that's been the thing that's really propelled them all week. They're getting multiple rebounds, and those kids underneath work really hard.
Number 5,
Caitlin French, number 5, being introduced now, the Rutland Rec team. Rutland and Brandon for the girls' championship here in the 5th and 6th grade Ed Glodzik Memorial Basketball Tournament at the Healey Gym at West Rutland. And this is the girls' championship, the boys' championship to follow. Both games live on PEGTV, channel 15 on the Rutland Comcast system. Sky Woodard being introduced. She's one of the starters. Again, we'll be running by the starters here as soon as the lights come on. But
we hope they do.
I love that name for a basketball player, Sky Woodard for Rutland.
This game here, girls, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but whoever wins is the 2013 Ed Glodzik champion.
I don't know if you could hear Pat say that. He said, I don't want to put any pressure on you girls, but whoever wins is the 2013 Ed Glodzik girls champion. Somehow I think they knew that.
Yeah.
Now I know why he has the light on his cap there.
Yeah.
So straight from Ireland.
Let's get it on! We have a surprise guest for tonight. Jack Trepanier will...
Jack Trepanier and our national anthem first off. Well done. Jack Trepanier on the saxophone. If I'm not mistaken, he was at the Barry Auditorium last week. One of the games, of course, the West Rutland boys and girls did play at the Barry Aud last week, and he was on the sax with the national anthem.
He does an outstanding job.
He sure does. Terrific job. Rutland going with number 4, Elise Magro, and number 13, Francie Attore in the backcourt. Up front, number 12, Sky Woodard, number 25, Devin Fortier, and number 32, Grace Perkins. So that is the starting lineup for Rutland. For Brandon in the backcourt, starting it off, number 15, Aaliyah Edmonds, daughter of Stacy Edmonds, the coach, and also starting in the backcourt, number 3, Emily Doty. Starting up front, number 4, Annie Whitney, and also starting up front, number 21, Sophie Markowski. And also starting up front, number 22, Julia Lee for Brandon. So it's Whitney, Edmonds, Doty, Markowski, and Lee for Brandon. For Rutland, it's Magro, Woodard, Attore, Fortier, and Perkins. Dave Magro's daughter is Elise. We mentioned that earlier.
Mark Kader has just come to the table with the game ball, and we're almost ready to get started here,
And
Jack.
our 2 officials volunteering their time, John McCurran and Ray Dean. And welcome to those guys, and we're all set to go, and what a great crowd, and great to be here. A historic first time ever, the Glodzik finals televised live on PEGTV channel 15.
The atmosphere is electric. The teams are excited, and we're ready to rock and roll here.
Brandon in red going right to left. Rutland in black going left to right. Devin Fortier, number 25 for Rutland, and jumping center, number 22, Julia Lee for Brandon. And Brandon controlling with Markowski up front. So it looks like a little zone. First off, the 2-3 zone for Rutland is the shot from the left wing, no good by Markowski, but the shot is good from the right wing, and Brandon is on the board, leading it by a score of 2-0. As that was Julia Lee, and that looks like a 1-2-2, or maybe the 3-2 zone for Brandon as Rutland operates against it.
Yep.
Elise Magro, number 4, number 13 is Attore. This is Sky Woodard. Trying to force it inside, and the steal by Lee for Brandon. And she's whistled down for the double dribble.
Yep. Brandon on that first possession got multiple shots. That's going to be the thing. You mentioned their size in the early going. We'll see if how much that's going to play a key here.
Pass comes into Magro, number 4. So both teams in the zone in the early going. 6-minute quarters were minute in here, the first quarter at West Side. The defense put up by Edmonds, number 15. The 3-point attempt for the left wing is no good by Perkins. Scramble for the basketball. It's off Rutland. It'll be Brandon's basketball. And Rutland setting up some full court pressure. Almost, it was picked off. Attore picked it off. Now here is Elise Magro, and she ties it at 2. Elise Magro, number 4, getting the tying bucket for Rutland in the early going. The other way is Edmonds. Getting inside, knocked away. Markowski off the back of the rim, no good. Markowski runs down her own rebound. We're tied at 2, 4:20 to go here in the first quarter. It's going to be Rutland's basketball.
So Rutland Rec going to be very patient here on offense. They try to get the ball down low.
Magro double teamed in the corner. Almost tying her up there was Whitney. And Whitney, as a matter of fact, with it. Nice defensive play, Annie Whitney. Julia Lee quickly underneath, and trying to go up with it was Edmonds, and she got fouled. She'll be at the line for 2. She was fouled in the act of shooting.
Brandon does a good job of pounding that ball inside. It's been successful for him all week, so.
Foul on Sky Woodard, that's her first on the team. So Leah Edmonds at the line for 2. She's got another one coming up. Off the back of the rim, rebound, fought for, goes out of bounds, and it's going to be Rutland's basketball off Brandon as Torrey will throw the ball into play. Magro, Woodard, Torrey, Fortier, and Perkins. Slowly up the floor, Elise Magro. We're tied at 2 with 3:43 to go in the first quarter. Looks like the 1-2-2. It's Markowski, the top of that zone for Brandon. Magro looking for an opening, looking for some room as she gets double teamed again, and underneath they get the pass inside, and a nice job there. Grace Perkins, and the turnover, it's going to be Rutland's basketball. Grace Perkins getting the pass inside, and that puts Rutland up by a score of 4-2, and Rutland does have the basketball. 3-point attempt for the left wing, no good by Magro. Magro chases down her own missed shot off the rebound. Tries to force it inside, and the defensive play made there by Edmonds. Edmonds goes coast to coast. Edmonds fires it over the head of Doty, but it's off Rutland. It'll be Brandon's basketball.
Rutland's pressure is giving Brandon a little bit of trouble on that press early on.
Pass comes into Edmonds. Lost the handle. Edmonds on a battle on the floor, and it goes out of bounds. It's going to be, again, Brandon's basketball from the baseline. Rutland has the 4-2 lead. 2:55 to go in the first quarter. Into Lee. She got the first bucket of the ball game. Back up top, it's Markowski with it. Back to Lee, right wing. Fires up the 15-footer. It's short. And the rebound finally taken down by Fortier. And back to Elise Magro, who runs the attack for Rutland. Magro getting it back. Throws up the runner, it's short. Rebound controlled finally by both Whitney and also Torrey, and it's a jump ball situation, and it's going to be the possession arrow Rutland's way as Fortier will throw the ball into play from the baseline into Elise Magro. Sky Woodard with it. Throws up the runner and gets the roll. 6-2, Rutland up by 4 with 2:09 to go in the first quarter. And we do have a foul. They do call a foul on Rutland's Elise Magro. That's going to be the first on Elise Magro and the second on the team. Shot from the right wing is around the rim and in, and Brandon again on the board.
Markowski on the basket.
Yep, Markowski. Sophie Markowski, number 21. So Rutland has the 6-4 lead with 1:44 left here in the first quarter. Out front now, it's a Torrey with it. Trying to feed it inside, and the ball picked off. Is good defensive play there by Lee. Now the pass deflected by Perkins, but still controlled by Brandon, and trying to go up with it was Edmonds, so we got a foul against Rutland. And the foul's going to be on Devin Fortier, and that will be the first on Fortier, and that's the third on the team. And Aaliyah Edmonds, number 15, he is at the line for 2 for Brandon. And she's got another one coming up. Her mom, Stacy, is the coach of the Brandon club and missed them both, and the rebound is controlled back to Brandon on the floor. Markowski, and we got a jump ball. It's going to be Brandon's possession. Whitney, Edmonds, Doty, Markowski, and Lee for Brandon. Shot from the left wing is no good there by Edmonds. Run down, though, by Markowski. Nice hustle out to Whitney, and we got a 3-second violation against Brandon. It's Rutland's basketball with 1:11 to go in the first quarter. Negro going against that Brandon zone. Pulls up just inside the three-point line, an air ball, but run down in the corner. Back out to Magro it goes. That was run down in the corner by Ettore, and they're going to call the foul on Ettore, or was it 23 or 13?
13, I think.
13, yeah, it's on it. So that is the 4th on the team. 15-footer no good by Doty, and the rebound is to Ettore. A foul on Ettore before was her first. We got a traveling violation, Brandon's basketball. So the first on Ettore, 4 on the team. No team fouls as yet for Brandon with 39.9 seconds to go here in the first quarter. As on the inbounds play, it's in and out. Taking the shot there was Lee, and Rutland controlling again as Elise Magro trots into the forecourt. Sky Woodard with it. With space into the lane, too hard off the glass. The rebound, Markowski, and we got another foul here. And it's again going to be on Francie Ettore. That'll be her second. That's the 5th on the team. Oh, I beg your pardon. It's the other way around. It's going to be on. Well, they put the first on Brandon, but who was on specifically? At any rate,
the foul was on 13, Jack. So it was a inadvertent handing of the ball to the wrong color team.
Oh, okay. So, all right, I get it.
You were right.
7 seconds to go here in the quarter. Here's Magro, forces the shot, no good, and the rebound out of bounds with 1.2 seconds to go. So are all the fouls on Rutland? Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay, even though it's incorrect up on the board, but we're not going to do anything to the folks that work at the same table we do. Right off the inbounds play, shot no good by Perkins at the buzzer. And after 1 quarter of play in the championship game of the girls' championship, it was that foul was on Ettore that fouled, and it was her second, and it's the 5th on the team.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm not going to pull the same stuff that I saw on tape this week of the Glodzik tournament where we threw the guy at the scoreboard under the bus.
There, it's it. Not happening tonight.
Rutland leading Brandon 6-4 after a quarter. There are some raffles or what have you. It's all for charities or let's say non-profit, so we can.
There you go.
Matter of fact, I'm not even sure if it is. I'm not even going to say. I know there's some kind of little things going on, but between quarters here.
Village people are in the house. Yeah.
Yep. John was right on top of it. He said that they gave it to. In one of the games yesterday, I was here. Somebody shot it at the wrong basket.
Yeah,
got the basket, and the other team took it out.
Yeah.
Said, I wonder if I would have noticed that. You know, I've seen that in college. I've seen it once or twice. One of the players shot it in his own basket, but the other team took it out as if they went along with it. They bought it.
Yeah, they bought it.
The boys' game to follow is the Rutland Rec Moore team and Rutland Town. Same alignment out there. Magro, Woodard, Ettore, Fortier, and Perkins. For Brandon. Into the ball game is Ella Cheney. Ella Cheney is in. Markowski's still in there. Here's Magro. It's Brandon's in red and Rutland's in black. It's Rutland's ball here at the beginning of the second quarter of the possession arrow. Sky Woodard. Doty there on the defensive side. Back out front, Woodard. Throws up the 12-footer and hits it off the glass.
Nice shot.
8-4. Rutland up by 4. Some full court pressure by Rutland. It's Brandon. Julia Lee with it. Julia Lee chased by Magro. Now Edmonds. Little jumper from the left side in close. Emily Doty gets the bucket. It's 8-6 Rutland. Oop. Sky Woodard ahead to Perkins. Broke the pressure. Back out to Elise Magro. Early going second quarter. Magro. 17-footer is no good on the rebound. Chased down in the corner by Markowski of Brandon. And her pass behind Doty, out of bounds. It's Rutland's basketball.
Teams are still filling each other out here. Low scoring game pretty much. The girls have been putting some points on the board this week.
Perkins runs it down into the forecourt for Rutland. Woodard from the right baseline over the bucket, but Rutland still controlling. A Torino and back Magro with it. Throws it up, no good. Rebound, run down in the corner as it's controlled by Fortier. Back out to Magro. Picked up defensively by Doty out front. Magro pumps it up, no good, and it's going to be
Brandon.
Off Rutland's. Brandon's basketball. Torrey came close to picking that off, and we got a foul here. And Torrey is in some foul trouble here. She's got, I believe, three fouls, and that's already 6 on Rutland. The next foul on Rutland will send Brandon to the line here. It'll be the bonus. Edmonds out to Markowski. And the steal, a good defense by Woodard. Head now to a Torrey. Magro with it. Sky Woodard. Back to Magro. Janey picked her up, number 2. Off that zone into the corner. And we got a foul. This is the first foul on Brandon. It's going to be on Aaliyah Edmonds. First on Aaliyah, and that's the first on the team. Fortier will throw the ball into play. And a nice play on the inbounds. That was Markowski that came down with the steal. And however, it eventually becomes a Brandon turnover. It's Rutland's basketball in the backcourt, and we got a foul on Brandon. And the foul is going to be on Julia Lee, and that will be her first, and that's the second on the team. 3:08 to go in the half, and Rutland has an 8-6 lead. Magro virtually goes coast to coast toward the corner. Poked out of bounds by Julia Lee. It'll be Rutland's basketball. Devin Fortier will throw the ball into play, gets it back out to Magro. And we got a 3-second violation on Rutland. Brandon's basketball.
Lots of turnovers early.
Make the pressure.
Nice pass.
Edmonds now to Cheney, too hard off the glass. That's Ella Cheney, and Rebound controlled by Rutland. Again, Magro gets the ball, and they get the ball in her hands, John.
She's
controls
the team
offense.
leader. She sets up the play for sure.
And operating against that Brandon zone. Back out to Sky Woodard. Sky thought about the three. Back out now to Magro. Into the lane, runner no good, and the rebound fought for, and it is controlled by Brandon. Is the steal though by Magro. Back to grab it. Now Fortier. That was blocked. Magro stepped on the sideline. It's going to be Brandon's basketball. Checking in Megan Cheney for Brandon, number 1. And let's see who else checked in for. So Megan and Ella Cheney are both in there, number 1 and number 2, and they are twins. One wears glasses, one does not, but they are definitely twins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Markowski and also Lee. There was another player that checked in there.
Oh.
Runner in the key is good by Markowski.
A running one-hander.
That ties it at 8 with 1:22 to go in the first half. And Coach Magro is yelling to his daughter to call for a timeout. 1:13 to go in the half. We're tied at 8. Timeout on the floor.
He only gets full.
3 fulls per game. That's per game, right? I know another player came in for Brandon there when Ella Cheney checked in. The difference is here, I'll say it once, with Brandon, with the numbers only on the back, I don't wait kind of till they turn around here. Then,
it's hard to see.
So we're tied at 8, 1:13 to go in the half here at the Henchy Gym. PEGTV Channel 15, action of the Glodzik 5th and 6th grade basketball tournament, the girls championship game between Rutland and Brandon, the Rutland Rec and Brandon, all tied up at 8. 1:13 to go in the half.
Teams are doing a good job of going to their strength. The Brandon team uses their size well, and Rutland Rec seems to rely on Magro and Woodard a lot from the outside to take that outside jumper, and both teams have had limited success here, but you can see that's what they want to do. Brandon's got a slightly smaller lineup in there.
Maybe
right
it was
now.
just I'm just trying to double check. Maybe Ella Cheney was, Ella Cheney and Megan Cheney. So I thought Brandon was putting 2 players in there, but maybe just 1. At any rate, we've had the timeout, and the pass picked off by Markowski. Nice defensive play. Markowski getting it back from Lee. Markowski again tries the runner in the lane, and the rebound is controlled by Rutland. That's Sky Woodard that came down with it. Now Magro with it. 48 seconds to go in the first half. The runner by Elise Magro from the right baseline.
That's a tough shot, and she's been hitting that shot all week.
10-8, Rutland back out in front. And we're going to foul. This will put Julia Lee to the line. It puts Rutland over the limit. The foul is going to be on Grace Perkins, number 32 for Rutland, her first, 7th on the team.
And wait till you see these free throws, Jack. She's been consistently one of the best. I'm probably going to jinx her, but she got a unique little routine. She taps the ball on the floor.
Julia Lee, and
see, I jinxed her.
She misses, and it's going to be Rutland's basketball.
But she has shot a very high percentage from the free throw line this week.
25 seconds to go in the half. Rutland with a 10-8 lead.
Back out, Lee. Back out. Back out. Back out. Back out. Back out.
11 seconds to go. Into the corner, Perkins, and tipped out of bounds by Brandon's Julia Lee. It's going to be Rutland's basketball from the baseline with 8.7 seconds to go in the half. Magro turns, fires up the 18-footer, no good, and the rebound to Ella Cheney. And the ball stolen away, missing at the buzzer was Torrey after getting the steal. And that is the first half in the books here at the Hinchy Gym at West Rutland. At halftime, our score, it's Rutland 10 and Brandon 8. And both teams scored 4 points in that second quarter. This is the girls basketball championship game.
Dead even, baby.
Crowd starting to pick up here. If we can, we'll want to steal the scorebook here, and we'll run by the score.
There you go.
It's about a 5-minute halftime here, so we do it quickly. We have the halftime break very quickly, I should say. For Brandon Burstoff, Emily Doty's got a field goal for 2 points. Julia Lee's got a field goal for 2 points. And Sophie Markowski has a couple of field goals for 4 points. For the 8 points for Brandon, for Rutland, 2 field goals for Elise Magro, 4 points. 2 field goals for Sky Woodard, 4 points. And Grace Perkins also with a field goal for 2 points for the 10 points for Rutland here at halftime. 10-8 Rutland at the half here at the Hinchy Gym. Tell me a little bit about, I don't want to put you on a spot because we didn't practice this, but you're a West Side guy. A little bit about Frank Hinchy.
Frank? Oh, well, Frank was an icon over here. He was a little before my time, but there's many, many Frank Hinchy stories over here. You know, he was a teacher, coach, principal, and he's just one of those people that just did it all. And every time you bring up his name, it's synonymous with discipline. And if things weren't going right, he would take matters in his own hands. And then when the student got home, they got it doubly. Double whack.
I'm familiar with the old gym here with the balcony and so forth because it's still here. I mean, I've been in there a couple of times. So the new gym here dedicated to him in what, 1975 or so?
75, yeah.
The year before. Actually, you're probably a junior or maybe a senior that year
junior.
Here at West Rutland. So this beautiful new gym here dedicated to Frank Hinchy, called the Hinchy Gym. I never had an opportunity to meet Frank, but I do indeed remember when Frank had the gym dedicated to him. I might not remember that specifically, but Frank, as I understand, the night of the dedication, he was on the phone, was he not?
Yeah, he was on the phone. I believe he was in Florida, and he got him on the phone, and you know, he's very appreciative of what the school and the town did for him. But you know, he gave so much to this community, and he sort of set the standard. And many, many townspeople still remember and talk about him today. You know, just for the way he was.
Of course, just a great tradition of sports here at West Rutland. There are championship banners all over the place here on in the gym. I figured this out. The girls' championship banners are in gold, and the boys' championship banners are in green up there. And that includes the 1976 championship banner for West Rutland, the boys' basketball team, which you were a member of that. That was one of the final years of the smaller schools playing state championship games at the Patrick Gym. You defeated Proctor, and for a long time, the only time Proctor and West Rutland ever met in boys basketball in the championship until many years later. And one of the historic basketball games in the history of the Rutland area, really, that game.
Yeah, the quarters and semis were at the Barry Odd, and then the finals. And boy, you know, that was something, you know, to get that, to play at UVM, I mean, that's equally as good as playing at the Odd, I always thought. And what a great experience for these kids. Both the West Rutland boys and girls got back to the Odd this year.
Yes, they did.
And the future looks bright going forward for them as well. So Yeah, sports are alive and well over here in Westside.
Yeah, that's for sure. Of course, West Rutland got back to the championship game the following year against Leland the Great. That was the final year of the smaller schools playing the title games, 1977. And then in 78, West Rutland went back to the championship game. The championship game that year was played at the Barry Auditorium. And 2 state championships out of 3 years for West Rutland in 76, 7, and 8, but to the state championship game 3 straight years. And did we mention the coach?
Yeah, old Coach
the legendary Dave Kinsman.
And he resurfaced this year at Castleton College.
Yes, he did.
And what kind of a season did they have over there?
They were pretty good.
27-1 or something?
The women's basketball team, they won the ECAC New England Region Championship. Of course, Dave succeeded. Dave Kinsman was the JV coach for Dan Dool. He succeeded Dan Dool as the varsity coach, and God rest his soul, Dan passing away recently. We are about ready to go for second half action. Jack Healey, John Center here at the Hinchy Gym at West Rutland. 53 threes have been made in this tournament to date.
Wow.
53 threes from Pat Lawhan. If they had threes when you played,
it would have been 54.
No, I'm not asking if they did. I'm saying if they did. Your teammates never would have seen the basketball.
No. Yeah.
Where they didn't have girls basketball. Oh, here at West Rutland, yeah. Oh. I gotta tell you how far back I go. When I was in elementary school, not that it's about me, John, but we did have the local high school did play. It was just like I grew up at least at the time when I was in elementary. It was just like here, where kindergarten through seniors were all in the same building as it is here.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the high school girls basketball, and that was the old game, the 6-player game, where you could only dribble twice.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a very interesting game, I'll tell you that. Brandon going left to right here in the second half, and Rutland going right to left. Brandon with a basketball, and unable to get through traffic there was Edmonds. Into the ball game is Bianca Madrigal, who's number 11 for Brandon. She checked in. She was the MVP of the game last night here. Here's Magro again, and she misses, and the weak side rebound to Edmonds. So Rutland in black going right to left here in the second half. Brandon in red going left to right. Also into the ball game is Caitlin French, number 5 for Rutland, and Rutland has the 10-8 lead. Brandon just trailing by 2 as the shot goes over the bucket there by Edmonds, and finally went out of bounds off Rutland. It's going to be off Brandon. I beg your pardon. It's going to be Rutland's basketball. French is in along with Magro. Also Sky Woodard is in. Also in is Devin Fortier and Grace Perkins. As right on cue, Perkins misses underneath, and we get a foul in the rebounding action. The only player that was in any serious foul trouble, Tori, was on the bench for Rutland. She had 3. They called a foul there. That foul is on Brandon. They called it on Emily Doty. Her first on the team.
Jump ball situation.
And it's going to be Rutland's basketball now. And the steal, and Brandon controlling now off the inbounds play. Trying to find the open player was Edmonds, goes out of bounds. And it's going to be Rutland's basketball. Rutland still with that 2-point lead, and 4:40 to go here in the third quarter. Both teams have pretty much used the zone here. At the top of that zone, running around out there is Emily Doty. Woodard into the lane, misses off the glass. Rebound fought for, back out to Magro now. Finds an opening there, hit the side of the board from the baseline, back out to Woodard, and she hits the 17-footer.
Yeah, you can't give Woodard 2 or 3 shots because she's going to nail one of them.
And Rutland goes up by a score of 12-8. That's where the height helped out there, and shot misses from the left wing as That shot was taken by Emily Doty, and Rutland controlling with Magro into the forecourt to Woodard. To the free throw line, and she shot it up. An air ball goes out of bounds. Brandon's basketball. 3:53 to go, third quarter. Rutland has a 12-8 lead. Full court pressure. Magro almost got to it, and they couldn't save it. Magro now to Woodard in the lane. No good. And the rebound controlled by Julia Lee. Markowski with it now. Tried to send it down to Madrigal and was out of bounds. It's going to be Rutland's basketball.
Hey, Scott, get up. Scott, give it to Scott.
Caitlin French
Screen.
put the ball into play. They break the pressure here. Missing for the right wing, Fortier, and we have a whistle in the rebounding action. They're going to call a foul here. And the foul is going to be on Fortier. That's her second. That's the first on the team. As throwing the ball into play from the baseline will be Sophie Markowski for Brandon. Lee throws it to Doty as they get it into the forecourt. Pass tipped, and
Rutland's pressure has been great so far in the second half. I'll tell you, they've created a lot of turnovers.
Perkins managed to get the steal after it was originally tipped. French triple team back out to Woodard to Magro. Runner from 14 misses, and the rebound to Lee. Madrigal to the free throw line, misses, and Rutland controls the rebound as Woodard came down with it. 2:50 to go, third quarter, 12-8 Rutland. Rutland led 10-8 at halftime. Woodard to the free throw line and back out to Magro, and over to block the ball out of bounds as Perkins tried to go up with it. Nice play there by Julia Lee. Madrigal checks out, and back in is Annie Whitney for Brandon. So Rutland's basketball from the baseline. And we got a timeout, Rutland. That's the second timeout for Rutland. They got one left, and Brandon's got its full allotment. We have 2:37 to go, third quarter, and Rutland has a 12-8 lead.
Brandon just can't seem to get that ball deep down and low like they have the whole rest of the week. They've been able to get it down to Markowski and Lee down low, and they've converted it to some nice easy buckets, but the Rutland defense has been a good harassing type of a defense, and very active, creating a lot of turnovers here tonight.
Stacy Kent is our producer and our camera person. She's also been the referee for many of the games.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. It all started, let's see, today's the 15th. It started on the 9th, right? Saturday, so virtually a week.
And we're so happy, actually, to have PEGTV here this week. I'll tell you, it gives the kids a nice memento. You know, they can go in there and get a copy of their games or whatever they need, and you just can't duplicate this stuff. It's don't get any better than this.
Now, I did ask you, well, I knew that you played for the championship team. You played in this tournament, right? Or did you not?
I did, but I can't remember. Back then, the hoopla law wasn't there. It was a standard tournament, and I can't remember if we won or lost, to be honest with you.
Fortier throws the ball into play. Perkins tried to get up. It was tipped. I thought I heard a whistle, but maybe it was sneakers on the floor here. That's it. And there's Perkins over to steal.
I'm sure back then I was required to pass the ball to Patrika because he was taller, and that was the end of it.
Thought we might see him. I haven't seen him in a while. Thought we might see him here. Of course, for many years he was an official. And here's Woodard, and bang! Another one for Sky Woodard. 14-8, a 6-point lead for Rutland. We got a foul. And we got a foul on Sky Woodard, and that is Sky's second. That's the second on the team. Brandon's basketball with 2:03 to go in the third quarter. Of course, I had an opportunity to talk to Frank Biote, and when you talk about legends in West Rutland, Frank Biote is one. As Lee is fouled. And the foul is on Devin Fortier, and that's her third. So she's got 3, and Tori's got 3, and Tori is on the bench. Rutland 3 on the team. That comes into Whitney, and almost stolen away by Magro. Actually, she did tie it up. She tied up Lee. Jump ball, and whose possession will it be? It's going to be Brandon's basketball. Frank Biotti, I believe, played in the first one.
Yeah, he did, Jack.
And, of course, he is a legendary West Side guy. To the bucket. Aaliyah Edmonds, and it's 14-10. Rutland's lead down to 4. Minute 40 to go in the third quarter. Sky Woodard, and maybe it was a good foul for Brandon because wide open was Perkins. The foul going on Annie Whitney. That's her first, second on the team. And that probably would have ended up being an easy basket for Rutland.
That was a good foul. Brandon's not in any sort of foul trouble.
Woodard misses the 15-footer, picked up off the floor by Doty. Scramble for the basketball now, and Magro almost got 2. We got a foul. Nice hustle there by Aaliyah Edmonds for Brandon. And the foul is on Magro. That's her second, and that's the 4th on the team. Markowski with it, number 21 for Brandon. Still hanging around. Shot over the basket by Edmonds, but controlled in the corner. Whitney saved it. Back out, it's Lee. Back to Edmonds on the right wing. Hits off the glass. And it's 14-12. Rutland's lead down to 2.
Here they come. Couple easy baskets.
55 seconds to go in the third quarter. French almost got tied up, and finally a traveling violation on Caitlin French, and Brandon's got an opportunity to tie it this trip down the floor. Lee throws it back out front. Yeah, here is Edmonds, and she will be going to the line for 2, fouled in the act of shooting.
Brandon's done a great job of attacking the basket here in the last minute and a half, and they're starting to get Rutland in some foul trouble.
And that's on Devin Fortier, and that's her 4th. That's the 5th on the team. 43.9 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Violation.
Rutland has a 14-12 lead. Leah Edmonds will get another.
Great. Box up. Scott. Shooter.
She's at the line. She's got 4 points.
Get up.
And she misses that. I don't believe it hit the rim, so it's going to be Rutland's basketball with 43.9 seconds to go in the third quarter. Good defense. The steal by Lee to Edmonds, and she ties it up. We're all tied up at 14 apiece with 32 seconds to go in the third quarter. And the foul on Sophie Markowski of Brandon. That will be her first, and that's the 3rd on the team.
Markowski's played excellent defense, and to only have 1 foul, that's good for her.
So Brandon setting up that full court pressure. Comes into Magro. Sky Woodard breaks the pressure into the forecourt. Into the hands of Elise Magro. 12 seconds to go in the quarter. Woodard forces it and trying to save it. No, they couldn't do it. Unable to get to it was Grace Perkins. It'll be Brandon's basketball. 9.9 seconds to go in the third quarter. Right down the right sideline, Lee, and lost it out of bounds. It's going to be Rutland's basketball with 3.4 seconds to go in the quarter. Caitlin French. Magro from half court, and no, off the glass, and we are all tied up after 3 at 14 apiece. Rutland and Brandon is checking back in. Will be Francia Torrey, number 13 for Rutland at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So Brandon outscored Rutland 6-4 in that third quarter.
As Pat Lahan would say, we got ourselves a barn burner.
Oh, was that Pat Lahan? I thought it was the PA guy at the Spectrum.
Well, that's who he thinks he is.
I thought you stole the PA guy from the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
That's who he thinks he is.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with this crowd. I mean, the stands across the way. I don't know if Stacy has had a shot of that a couple of times, and
we had 10 games here last Sunday, and it was just like that. From the first game started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I think the last one started at 7 that night, and the crowd was very consistent all day long. A few will go out and a few come back in, and you know, a lot of just general spectators just come to watch this stuff. They just love watching the kids at this level.
You can recognize a couple of people in the crowd here. Dave Hughes is here from David Hughes from Poultney. He goes to a lot of games. I see him at Castleton games, Poultney games.
Haas Markowski up there, the patriarch of F.W. Webb. He got himself an aisle seat.
Of course, we do have the patriarch of Fabian excavating here as well. I won't say
No,
it.
that would be my wife.
That's the matriarch. Patriarch and matriarch.
Same difference. Same difference.
So we're set to go. 6 minutes away, maybe more, from crowning a champion here in the girls' portion of the Glodzik Memorial Basketball Tournament at Westside. It's going to be Rutland's basketball in black and red, and Brandon in red and black. Brandon going left to right, and Rutland right to left. Rutland with the basketball. We mentioned that Tori's back in. She's got the 3 fouls. Sky Woodard with it. Back out to Magro. Also, Ella Cheney is back into the ball game, number 2 for Brandon. And Tori had it, and then a cross-court pass picked off there as it comes down to Edmonds, and she lays it in. The pass was picked off by Markowski. She found Edmonds, and it's a 16-14 ball game. Brandon takes the lead. And another turnover, and Brandon with a basketball. It's Markowski. Now to Edmonds, and over Woodard, almost got to it. And down low, the pass right back down to Edmonds. Too hard off the glass, weak side rebound, back up, no good. And the rebound is controlled by Rutland. That rebound was back up by Markowski, but Rutland controlling now in the forecourt with Magro and Woodard. Woodard with it out front, 16-14. Brandon's got the lead. Perkins fires up, it's short, and the rebound controlled by Brandon. And dribbling out of bounds along the near side where we're located, Julia Lee. So a turnover there, and Rutland gets the basketball right back.
Right in front of Coach Magro, and he had the call too, just in case the official didn't.
I did. And I could have made the call too. She was out by probably 6 inches. So here's Magro with a runner. It's short. And the rebound fought for, and Magro can't handle it. It's going to be Brandon's basketball. Brandon going with Annie Whitney in there. Ella Cheney is in there. Sophie Markowski, Julia Lee is in there. And also Doty, Whitney. Scramble for the basketball, and the pass down to Tori. Now it's back the other way, down the lane, and back to block the shot was Perkins, but it will be Sophie Markowski going to the line for 2. The foul on Rutland. That's the 6th foul on Rutland. The next one will put him over the limit, and it was Perkins on the foul, her 2nd. Again, the 6th on the team, and Sophie Markowski at the line for 2. It's that one off the glass, as into the ball game is Megan Cheney, and out is Whitney for Brandon. Markowski has got 5 points, 3-point lead for Brandon. Misses that one, and the rebound is controlled by Perkins. Now Magro with it. Almost got tied up there by Edmonds. It's Woodard, and a little shot there, no good by Fortier, and Brandon with it. Probably should have gone to the bucket because she had some room there.
Yeah, she had some room.
He sent it underneath as That was Megan Cheney. Her twin sister is also in, Ella Cheney. Megan's number 1, Ella's number 2. They're both in there right now for Brandon. Lee. Back out now, it's Markowski. 15-footer, good off the glass, and she has come to life here in the 4th quarter.
Wow.
5-point lead for Brandon, 19-14 with 3:09 to go in the game. Woodard. Magro, runner, good off the glass. What a huge basket that was.
We got ourselves a ball game.
We got a timeout. Coach Edmonds, 19-16. Brandon by 3 with 2:53 to go in the game.
Markowski, boy, what a game she's played. It started on the defensive end, and now she's come alive offensively. So it's good news for Brandon. On the other side, Rutland Rec, they're doing a lot with Magro and Woodard.
Well, Magro's got 6. Woodard's got 8 points.
Yeah.
7 points for Markowski, 3 here in the 4th quarter. And Edmonds has 8 points.
Nice balanced scoring.
50-50's pushing $600. We need your help. We got to get it up to at least 700. Also, the
19 points for Brandon and 16 for Rutland with 2:53 left here in the ball game. Girls basketball championship game. Jack Healey, John Center, the Hinchy Gym. A historic first night, PEGTV, Channel 15. All the action live for you here. So it's Markowski, 2 Cheneys, Megan and Ella, the twins, and Lee is in, and also Edmonds. That's the alignment right now for Brandon. Steal by Magro, and then she got tied up. But they are going to call it a foul. And they are going to call it on Sophie Markowski. That's her 2nd, 4th on the team. So Rutland's basketball. Elise Magro. Throws up the 15-footer, no good. Rebound to Woodard at the baseline, and she tried to get it in down low to 40, right by her, and steal, and Lee throws it ahead now to Edmonds. Back out Julia Lee. Markowski back out to Lee. Now Edmonds with it. And on the cut, that's going to be a traveling violation on Julia Lee. Right idea, nice play on the cut right down the middle. Back in is Emily Doty, and Emily checks in for Ella Cheney. So Megan Cheney still in, but Emily Doty is in for Brandon. Torrey. 40 years traveling. 2:04 to go. We're in the 4th quarter, 2:04 to go in the ball game as Rutland sets up some full court pressure. Brandon with a basketball, pass tipped. It is Magro underneath. The shot blocked there at Torrey. And Torrey tried to go back up with it. We got a jump ball. It's going to be Brandon's basketball. I'm not sure who got a piece of that original shot by Magro. But Torrey did keep it alive, but then got tied up. So Brandon with the basketball, a minute 50 to go in the game. Here's Edmonds with it down the right sideline, chased by Woodard. Magro comes over as well, double team for a moment. In the lane, the shot by Markowski, no good. Rebound to Woodard, runs it down to the corner and got fouled in the backcourt. That'll be the 5th on Brandon. So they have 1 to give with a minute 36 to go. And the foul is going to be on Markowski. That's her 3rd, again the 5th on the team. The next foul on Rutland will send Brandon to the line. It'll put them over the limit, but Brandon has 5 team fouls.
Look for Magro, get a shot here.
Magro chased by Doty and picked up by Cheney.
Nice pick. Zone.
Negro's 18-footer short. Negro gets it right back from Ettore. Minute 15 to go in the game. It's a 3-point Brandon lead. Negro looking for space. She fires up the three. It's short. Rebound in the lane, blocked, and again it's a 40-er. Now back to Woodard, misses, and the rebound is controlled by Brandon. 52 seconds to go in the game. That was controlled by Lee. Running it down now is Cheney. And we got a foul going against Rutland. This will put Brandon to the line. 48.2 seconds to go in the ball game.
That foul will be on Sky Woodard.
And Sky Woodard, her third foul, again the 7th on the team. And at the line will be Megan Cheney.
Wow. I promised you a couple good games here tonight, Jack.
And Megan misses, and the rebound, though, controlled by Edmonds in the corner. Back to Markowski, and we got a timeout. Brandon. This is unofficial, but I believe both teams have one timeout remaining. 44.5 seconds to go in the game. Brandon has a 19-16 lead. That was Brandon's timeout. Coach Edmonds. Former Stacy Bird, star basketball player at Otter Valley. Now we're going to go to John Center for our feature coaching tips. John?
Take the air out of the ball.
Or put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, either one.
Play good defense.
I'm sure the Rec's going to be looking to try to steal the basketball here, put some pressure on Brandon. Of course, they're over the limit now, so free throws are going to be paramount here down the stretch.
Pat Lawhan, the public address announcer, one of the sons of Ireland here. He's an Irishman that's at least been to Ireland.
Yeah.
Which is more than I can say for other Irishmen, like myself.
That's it.
Play back in, Brandon with a basketball, and almost a steal there, and finally it was a steal along the far side as Ettore came out of there with it, and it was tipped out of bounds, but great play by Francie Ettore, and it's Rutland's basketball with 33.4 seconds to go in the game. Pass comes into Magro, fires up, misses, and the rebound is controlled by Brandon as they try to save it at the baseline. A nice play by Edmonds, saved it to Markowski, who originally came down with the rebound. Now it's Lee with it, 17 seconds to go, and they fouled, and that will send a Brandon player to the line. The foul was on Magro, and it's going to be going to the line is Edmonds for Brandon for a 1-on-1. It's the 8th team foul. That's the 3rd on Magro. 16.7 seconds to go. And Edmonds misses, and the rebound out of bounds off 40er. It's going to be Brandon's basketball. So Brandon with a basketball and the 3-point lead with 15.5 seconds to go in the ball game. Right underneath, oh my. Decided to bring it back out, and
foul's going to be on Magro. That's going to be her 4th.
Yeah, it is the 4th on Magro, 9th on the team. Well, Aaliyah probably could have iced the game right there, but brought it back out, which was the plan, I'm sure. She's at the line for a 1-on-1 with 12.7 seconds to go. Misses, and the rebound is controlled by Fortier, and we got a timeout. And that's a timeout. Rutland with 10.7 seconds to go in the game. That's their final timeout. Brandon has 1 left, and they need 3 to tie. Rutland will have possession.
You can go to the bank with this one. It's either going to Magro or Woodard. Both good shooters from the outside.
No, you just want to talk about Aaliyah Edmonds, who possibly could have had the shot there, but probably told by her coach and her mom that you don't have to shoot. We got the lead, and she was eventually fouled. And
well, Brandon's had a couple opportunities to ice this one away. If they could have made one free throw there, it would have put it a 4-point lead. It would have been a 2-possession situation for all intents and purposes, but that didn't happen. So now the Rec's going to have a chance.
I know we're going to have both a boys and girls all-tournament team here. I believe the boys will be 14 players, and
yep, and there's
the girls will be what?
There's going to be 5 players on the girls.
But they will all be announced after the boys game.
Right. All the awards will be happening at once.
Well, here we go. Magro with it. 8 seconds to go. Magro in the backcourt. Good defense. Got tied up. Jump ball. Whose possession will it be? It's still Rutland's basketball. 3.7 seconds to go. Woodard will throw the ball into play. And Woodard throws it into play, and here is Magro. Shot is deflected as time expires, and Brandon has won it. Brandon wins the Glodzik championship on the girls' side.
Wow. What a game by both these teams.
So Brandon has won it by a score of 19-16, and Brandon outscored Rutland 5-2 in that decisive fourth quarter. So congratulations to Brandon for picking up the championship. Rutland, the runner-up team. As they congratulate each other, let's run by the scoring if we can here. First of all, for Rutland, thank you very much, Ed. For Rutland, Sky Woodard had 4 field goals, 8 points. Elise Magro had 3 field goals for 6, and also Grace Perkins had a field goal for 2 points. For Brandon, leading the way was Aaliyah Edmonds. She had 4 field goals for 8 points. Sophie Markowski had 3 field goals and a free throw for 7 points. Emily Doty had a field goal, 2 points. And Julia Lee had a field goal for 2 points. And Brandon wins the championship. Congratulations to Brandon. And we'll take a little break. We'll be back with the boys' final coming up in a matter of minutes on PEGTV Channel 15. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for the girls' final here at West Rutland in the Glodzik tournament. Brandon wins it by a score of 19-16 over Rutland. For John Center, I'm Jack Healey. We'll be back shortly from West Rutland.
Okay, thank you, Pat. It's been quite a week of basketball, and I tell you, it's just a lot of fun, and it gave me a lot of satisfaction after being here all week, and I have to see that extra row of bleachers being pulled out, because I haven't seen that in a long, long time. It's just a tribute to these kids, the coaches, the parents, the grandparents in the community that support these kids, and I'll tell you what, people, that's what our future's all about. 816 minutes of basketball this week, 34 games, 362 players. Now, that is something. We had some outstanding individual efforts. We had some outstanding team efforts. We had a made half-court shot of all things. And something I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes. We had a game that was both the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. I'm going to talk about it a little bit in a couple minutes. The tournament volunteers, these guys behind me, just outstanding. And I'm so proud of each and every one of them. I think every year we seem to add a wrinkle to make the tournament even one notch better than it was the year before. I think we've accomplished that again this year. PEGTV, I mean, how great is that to have a momentum of any one of these games? We filmed every single one of them as far as I know. And you can't put a value on it, and I don't want to estimate it, but my good friend, 20 times Vermont State Sportscaster of the Year shows up for this event and volunteers to broadcast the game tonight. Jack Healey. The alternative team is a very difficult task to try to come up with a very minute amount of kids. And I think in a lot of tournaments you'll see what they do is they basically go down the scorebook, they find out the leading scores, and there's your alternative team. We kind of do things exactly opposite to that. We look at the kids for a lot of different things, and one thing that we're really big on over here is looking for sportsmanship. If the kid is going to adopt a really bad attitude, I doubt we're going to see him on any alternative team that comes out of here. We like teams that do the special things, the hard workers. Maybe the kid gets a lot of rebounds, maybe makes a lot of passes, maybe helps the other player up off the court. We're looking for a lot of different things, and believe me, with this amount of people we've got behind the scenes, we see a lot of things. And like I said, the sportsmanship part, showing your love for the game, that's an absolute requirement. Last but not least, as to this open here, one thing I'm very, very proud of again, and I love saying this every year, let's recap it. 816 minutes of basketball, 34 games, not one technical fault. Okay, we're going to start off with the girls' bracket. This girl played excellent defense all week. She did a great job rebounding. She handles the fouls very, very well. She wore number 13 this week. She comes to us from Manchester, and her name is Elizabeth Wantaboo. This is one of our taller players. What happens when you get a taller player at this level? An awful lot is expected of them. You're supposed to rebound, you're supposed to score, you're supposed to pass, you're supposed to do it all. Well, this young lady certainly did her part this week. She scored some points and did all that other stuff. She's a very hard worker. She comes to us from Barstow. She wore number 31, Emily Rapino. Next player, excellent shooter. He handles the ball well in the open court. The free throw. I used to love shooting free throws. And this girl is probably the only one that I really saw with an absolute routine when she shot a free throw. She had this little deal where she kind of tapped the ball on the free throw line, tapped it again, and she had a very high percentage of free throws made this week. She comes to us from Brandon. She wore number 22. Her name is Julia Lee. This next player, just an outstanding ball player. She's a team leader. You can tell she spends an awful lot of time on her game. When she gets one-on-one at the open court, or she gets a couple feet, if she can get that jump shot off, she's going to knock it down more times than not. Comes to us from the Rutland Rec. She wore number 4, Elise Miguel. last but not least, tonight, this player was very important for helping turn the game around a little bit. She did an excellent job on defense. A very unselfish player. She scored some points. She played underneath the basket this week, and boy, just a workhorse. Comes to us from Brandon. She wore number 21, Sophie Markowski. Now for the boys' side. This first player, we call him a three-point specialist of the tournament because he's just a really pure shooter. He plays really good defense, and he helped his team get all the way to the semifinals, and then that's where they got beat. But he comes to us from West Rutland. He wore number 21, Willie Grabowski. When I was over on the sidelines this week, a lot of the coaches said, boy, I hope this little point guard here takes it easy on my point guard. He was absolutely tenacious on defense. He was really fun to watch, and he was quick, I'll tell you that. He comes to us from Colton. He wore number 3, Spencer Gibbs. This other gentleman played one of the first games this week, and boy, he opened some eyes. He's an excellent ball handler, extremely quick, and one-on-one off the dribble to the hole. Boy, he is very hard to stop. Excellent shooter as well. We're number 3, comes to us from Manchester, and his name is Jake Nicholson. Okay, this next player, he had really good size. He saw the court very well. Again, another nice one-on-one player driving to the basket. And he also did his share of rebounding this week. Comes to us from Christ King School. He wore number 6, Mark Santa Ursula. This next player, I guess you could say he's extremely athletic. He has the ability to just take a game right over by himself. He's outstanding in all the aspects of the game. I'm sure you're going to be hearing his name for many years to come. He comes to us from Castleton. He wore number 32, Cameron Kaludi. Okay, this next player is an excellent team leader. Played solid defense, nice jump shot, just a real nice addition to any team. He comes to us from Clarendon. He wore number 17, John Janoski. Next player was very quick. He did a great job of distributing the ball. He had a lot of assists this week. And he had to handle the ball against the press as well as getting open for shots because he was deadly with that as well. He plays for Granville. He wore number 13, Tyler Bourne. Another outstanding athlete. He's very well respected by the opposing coaches, I can tell you that. His name came up often this week. He is the go-to guy, and he accepts that role very graciously. He's got an extremely bright future ahead of him, and he comes to us from the Rutland Rec, number 11, Jameson Evans. next young man is an excellent shooter, passes the ball very well. He did a nice job of handling the ball against the press as well. A lot of these teams don't see a press throughout their rules during the year, but as you know in this tournament, 3-point line, everything goes, pressing and everything. And so these guys have to adjust sometimes very quickly. And this guy did that very, very well. He comes to us from Lothrop, and he wore number 13, Delshawn Norwood. This next guy, I guess you can call him the floor general. He's just a lot of fun. He's got a lot of confidence in his game. He gets the offense going, handles the ball, he runs the break. He's got an excellent shot, he's athletic, he's just a great little team player. He comes to us from West Rutland. He wore number 22, Eric Maxim. This next player he just had an outstanding game tonight. He's a big kid, and like I said, big kids, they usually have a lot expected of them. But it's unofficial, but he had 9 blocks this evening, and I gotta believe that might be a Glodzik tournament record here. I can't remember quite that many, and he comes to us from the Rutland Rec. He's number 32, Matt Rutland. This other player, I guess I give him a little term, Energizer Bunny, because I'll tell you, he's all over the place. He has all kinds of energy on offense, defense, and he was our guy this week to hit the half-court shot. That was unbelievable. He sort of took over the game tonight. You see he ran off. I think he ended up with 14 points. In a losing effort tonight, but believe me, you're going to be reading about him for a while too. He comes to us from the Rutland Rec, number 22, Jacob Lorman. This next player, excellent team player, very, very unselfish kid. He rebounded well this week. He scored a bunch of points, and he just planted himself on that low block, and he dove in all week, and he propelled his team right to a championship. He comes to us from Rutland Town. He wore number 2, Eric Coughlin. Last but certainly not least, this young man, I'll tell you, he really sees the court well. Got a nice jump shot. Very, very confident with his shot. He made a couple baskets tonight down the stretch that turned a tie game into a slight lead. And who knows, maybe that was the difference. But he too comes to us from Rutland Town. He wears number 13, Willie Duet. We have one more special award this evening. It's kind of a new little wrinkle that somebody thought would be a nice touch to the tournament. I told you a few minutes ago about the basketball game we had this week that encompassed both the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Clarendon was playing the Rutland Town 5th grade team, and the Rutland Town 5th grade team was ahead by 3 points, and there was 7 seconds to go in the game. Clarendon inbounds the ball, kid drives the length of the court, lays it up and in, and there's about 2.5 seconds left. The player from Rutland Town quickly inbounds the pass. It was just a knee-jerk thing. And it had to be like the perfect storm, and if anybody knows anything about the Celtics, it was just like Larry Bird and Dennis Johnson there, but inbounded the ball, kid stole it, turned around, threw it, Immediately, I turned my focus onto the losing team because I know what it feels like to be on that side. But when I looked over at those kids, they were almost military. You would think a natural reaction would be throw a water bottle, kick a chair, because it's only human nature to have something taken away from you when you had it completely in your control. For those kids' credit, they were able to pick up the pieces, and they immediately got in line, and they walked right down through, and they shook hands with the other team that just beat them. For that, we'd like to recognize their coach, Jeremy Baker, for doing an outstanding job of getting them to that point. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a little bit of what we're looking for in this tournament. That's why this tournament is great. That's why it'll always be great. And hopefully we can make it better next year. Runner-up, Rutland Rangers! How about these girls? They're wishing me a happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah! Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to announce to you
no crime and bad mistakes.